Keep
Cheers.
continuing.
Cheers, Bruce.
Cheers, boy.
Oh gosh.
I hate vodka.
What's up, guys? My name is Sean. I'm here with another episode 12, the last episode of the year, and I'm really excited to invite Leo and Aarjav.
Singtel a sponsor?
Exactly.
The way you're all doing that?
Exactly.
Singtel,
I
of
always
course.
got a sponsor.
Oh, Sean, I'm very excited to be a part of this podcast.
You gotta have the logo shown for sure.
But over the last year, it's been all about like the wellness and the fitness industry. But I've known Leo and Aarjav for many years during high school times, and so football times too.
Mm.
So I'm super excited to start this episode, and we're just gonna wing it. I mean, it's gonna be the most simplest, most fun episode, I think. So that's
Sounds
awesome.
good.
Thanks for joining. So before we get into the questions and topics, we need to do a shot. So I've set it out already.
That's tradition.
Nice. Let's
Okay.
fucking do it then.
Let's
do
go.
it. What do we host?
Toast
Any
to-
specific? Toast to your 12th episode?
Yeah, why not?
Toast to 12 great episodes.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, you smell that shit? Ooh.
It didn't go down too well. Fucking hell.
What do you mean? What vodka
I don't
goes
think
down
ever
well?
goes
It's
down well.
absolute.
Nothing but some maybes?
It's about if what's a maybe like.
What's some maybes? Maybe some absolutes?
No, but guys, I mean, it's been a pretty fucking crazy year.
Crazy couple of years.
Couple years. I was gonna say like 2020 was tough. 2021 was better.
For sure.
I mean, everyone's talk about like all these negative feelings about quarantine and like restrictions, but what do you think the best thing that's come out of 2021 for you guys?
Silver linings
Oh,
of
dude.
2021.
If you can see it.
Work from home.
There's plenty. Yeah, work from home is the
Work-
I
biggest
think
for
work
sure.
from home culture. That
The
shit's
fact that we're
the
moving
only
away
silver
from,
lining.
you know, the whole 9 to 5, everybody needs to be in Monday to Friday. Like, you know, there was a big myth before that nobody's going to be productive if everybody went and worked from home.
Right.
I don't know if we're in a position to say like, oh, it's 100% the same and all of this, because
At least
it's
we get
still-
to explore it. you know
exactly,
what I mean?
and
There's
it's, you
no
know,
other
it's-
context where we would be able to sort of
Right.
find out for ourselves.
it's
kinda cool.
and it's more like it's only been around as a concept for like the last 2 years,
sure,
really. You know,
for sure.
people also most of us weren't ready to be just suddenly be working from home. Like, we didn't have setups and all of that. But now that, you know, you've realized that, okay, well, this isn't going away. We have to be this. I think everybody's kind of adapted in that way and improved their productivity for sure.
For real.
I feel like, you know, the chillness that has given us and like more control over our life for sure is the best.
I think it's pretty incredible that I think as human beings, we're not supposed to be in like a 4x4 box where you're so concentrated on doing your work and stuff. If you have the flexibility and space, you know, if you do your work for X amount of hours, then
Right.
you can maybe go for a run
Mhm.
or take a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Sure.
That will increase productivity. But I've never working from home since COVID hit because of my occupation.
Right.
Right.
I don't really know what it's like.
Mm.
Right. Well, COVID's affected your occupation hardcore. I mean, if you're
It has
talking
at the
about,
beginning.
Yeah.
It did at the
Mm.
beginning because people were scared, obviously, with the numbers going up and whatnot. But at the end
Right.
of the day, like, it's been actually okay because no one's traveled and people are keep renewing and training.
Right.
Right.
Right. So the
It's also,
consistency
like
stays.
maybe a bigger focus on health nowadays, and like you
Yeah.
know, I mean, I think Joe Rogan's a big advocate for it, but like
Yeah.
you know, oftentimes when we're thinking about health in general, we tend to forget sometimes, or like with like flus and stuff like that. You know how much exercise can play a part, in, like,
Right.
and just upkeeping your body, just you know basic stuff that you can do to
Exactly.
Mm.
build up your defenses.
I think I found it super weird at one point when, like, I mean, there were legislations of how you had to wear a mask when you were training.
When you're working out, that should trip me out.
And-
Seeing people run with masks on, dude.
That's
that
a
was
bit
like,
bit
I would-
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constricting your fucking
Mm.
ability to breathe. When,
I don't understand it. Like, your performance space is never going to be improved, and in fact, will be detrimental to whatever you do.
Yeah,
Right.
or you get really good at training, you know, anaerobically. Just without oxygen, you're always, you know,
Or just
struggling.
passing
Yeah,
out,
or
dying.
passing out all the
does it
time.
work kind of like high altitude training? Like, does it have the same effect if you wear a mask, or
I don't know. High altitude
restricting
training.
your oxygen in some way?
Mm.
maybe there's benefits.
Yeah.
Should be. I can't back up the science on that.
Right.
I'm not entirely
Either way,
sure.
we're definitely not the two guys to.
Yeah, to add to me,
Working
I base this
fucking-
on absolutely nothing.
I have zero experience.
But you know what the crazy thing about it is also I noticed that like the whole dynamic has changed like everywhere and anything. Like don't you feel I don't know correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you feel people are a little bit more tense now past 2 years about since COVID hit, you know, in terms of like, you know, are they scared to maybe invest or do bigger things because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
For sure.
Am I wrong? in
No,
saying
you're
that?
100% right. I would say that's the case for me as well, in the sense that like uncertainty is, you know, crazy in this time in terms of like there's certain things that I've planned and then 6 months down the line we're still stuck in a lockdown or like quarantine is really strict. So always kind of you're delaying plans and you're kind of, you know, pushing things forward. And now it's just gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait for this to kind of blow over. I've got plans and, you know, general goals and stuff, but I'm like really not sticking to any of these.
Right, you
Just
don't want to
kind
make any big moves.
of exactly, just
Yeah,
ride it
it's
out a
so-
little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all made the mistake of being like, oh, this will be over soon. Like, I
Yeah,
can start. Like, I've planned like at least 3 times separate occasions to
Yeah.
go visit my parents, and it's like
Oh,
Same.
every time it's like,
Yeah.
forget about it.
yeah, it's too
There's
much
another
hassle.
variant, or you know, the borders are restrictions are getting tighter. Like so much
Mm.
that just gets thrown at you in these past few years. That like I think most people are just don't want to think concretely about the future
Yeah.
for now.
Right.
They're just like living in the now,
Yeah,
trying to
it
get day
kind
by
of-
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sort of puts you in that state a little bit. Right?
To be honest, I kind of think that's also a good thing. It can be
Yeah.
bad because, you know, the uncertainty and the fact that you're just kind of stuck in a mundane routine, but it also kind of, for me, lets you just enjoy the mundane. I
Yeah.
kind of like the idea that
getting used to that. Yeah.
more just, you know, the fact that, you know, it's not just you that's not doing anything. Really, nobody's
Everyone,
doing anything.
yeah.
So we're all really learning to enjoy the little things, like, you know, just going to the park
own
on a
company.
weekend, something like that.
Yeah.
Where it used to be like an occasion, like, oh, we're going to the park. What the fuck are you going to do
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, but now it's just there's nothing else to do, so we're just gonna go to the park, maybe have a couple drinks, something like that, just to chill out.
Yeah, I think also you realize like now the people who are located in a certain situation, you get closer in that bond, and it is quite nice, you know. You see like friends that you wouldn't see if there wasn't really this corona going on.
Yeah,
You'd make the time because this is the only time to do it,
right,
in a sense.
for sure.
You guys seen Friends? I see the same Friends, bro. I
Wonder,
feel
dude.
like it's maybe done the opposite.
It's
for me.
Okay.
I probably closed my friendship group a little bit more. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
given like I've definitely never had much of a big social group anyway.
Okay.
But you know, you can't. I mean, there's less events going on. There's less occasions. I mean, obviously nowadays it's picking up in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Things here are a lot better than
There
a lot
might
of
be a
other
lot more
places.
factors than just COVID to that. Like for me at least,
Mm.
I'm just not a
Mm.
sociable guy in general. But
Mm.
like it's been harder to sort of meet new friends, like
Yeah.
groups of people. That might just be Hong Kong.
I
Or
no,
just-
I would definitely agree. Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's just my experience of it.
I think what's super hard also is, okay, so in 2013 or 12, Tinder had come out,
Right.
and the age of social media,
It was-
social interaction is already accelerated, and then when Corona hit, it even went even higher, because people's times are really precious, you know, you're
Sure.
scared of getting the virus.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky to meet my girlfriend during COVID.
Tinder.
Tinder, it was
Nice.
Tinder, it was a
Nice.
Tinder. Do you think that like,
Modern.
it's
Yeah.
the modern
Yeah,
thing?
I honestly think it is.
So many
Yeah,
people.
right?
Yeah,
Do you think that,
There's
like,
no
let's
shame.
say Corona's gone, right?
Mm.
In the next, let's say, 12, 24 months, do you think Tinder, Bumble, whatever it is, do you think it's going to accelerate even more?
I think so. I think there'll be new things potentially, but I imagine that
Hmm.
we're only going to have more technology in our lives, and also, and as a consequence, less potentially like
Yeah.
interaction in the way that maybe we.
That's scary, huh?
It's scary. I don't
It's
really mind
scary,
it
but it's-
personally. I just think it's just times are changing. Like,
Mm.
in the same way, you know, things have always changed. The way people met throughout history, I'm sure.
No,
sort
but
of
that's
changed, and
that's the
rules.
thing, right? Like throughout history, you only had access to like basically the people
Right,
who were
people
kind of
around
around
you,
you. Maybe now in the case of like big cities like Hong Kong, it's different. You can
Yeah.
go out and basically never run into the same people again.
Yeah, yeah.
But with something like Tinder or Bumble, you could be so much more focused with, you know, the kind of person you're looking
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
And it opens up to basically everybody, to the idea that, you know, so many people out there and you're finding that person who's right for you.
For sure.
It makes it so much easier. So I don't think it's going to go
I
anywhere.
reckon there's something
in
to
that
be said
sense.
about like our, like I think we're just more and more socially awkward as
Yep.
as
Mm.
time goes.
Right.
Just because, you know, less things force us.
Yeah.
There's less situations where we're forced to have to.
Right.
If anything, our generation grew up with MSN and all that shit.
Right.
It's quite natural for us
The
to
nudge.
communicate
Yeah.
behind a screen. And I think that's just naturally transitioning to now that we're all at the age where we're looking for partners. This is just sort of what makes sense as a mean for us to connect.
Connect and
And I
yeah.
think, I was thinking the other day, like they should have Tinder for just when you're looking for friends, bro. Like,
But how do you do that?
I
Like,
don't know,
because
like,
I
you
know
could
guys
meet
are
people's,
fucking
like-
horny all the time.
yeah, but like you could do a Tinder where it's like you're
Only-
just meeting friends,
yeah.
you meet communities, or like you know,
Okay,
people
fine.
who are like-minded somehow.
Okay.
In a place like Hong Kong, I feel like that's fucking hard. Dude.
Mm.
Football is great. Like if you have something or like an activity that you know naturally all the people you're gonna do it with are like-minded to a certain
Yeah.
extent. I mean, it's a good way to meet people, but like it would be nice to for more not niche, but say like gaming or something.
Mm.
You could just like go on an app and be like, I'm looking for someone who plays League of Legends
Right.
or some shit, and then
Yeah.
like a bunch of guys swipe
I-
right
I-
on. I love League of Legends. This guy looks cool.
I see that on like Tinder and Bumble now at some point. It's, you know, I think
Oh,
a lot of
really?
introverted people are starting to go on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I find
So-
that though, when people write, dude, just looking for a friend on Bumble and Tinder,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, fuck you. Are we allowed to curse? Sorry.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can
Yeah,
curse.
there's a part of me that kind of thinks like,
You can
come
swear, you
on,
can swear.
It's just
Yeah.
not that, and that I think that's what got me thinking about it. Actually, it's like surely some people are looking for friends.
True,
It's just
true.
not the platform.
Mm.
Tinder
I
or
think.
Bumble.
Yeah, I think it has to
Fuck.
be a different
So
sort
you're
of.
just gonna get someone
Right.
who's gonna pretend to be your friend.
Yeah,
And then
it's-
you're
it's
like,
more
oh,
that.
You actually wanted a friend? Peace.
Yeah. I would always think they have some kind of like a motive or an agenda.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
I know. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I keep saying this, but I know for a fact that like, guys always want to fuck a girl for some reason.
Well, what do you mean for
Why would
some
you
reason?
fuck-
I can
No,
give you
for
plenty
some
of
reason,
reasons.
Like, if you
Single
match,
guys.
and you're like, yeah, I just want to be friends, but deep down, like,
Yeah, but that goes both ways. I
Yeah,
think.
but I
You think
that's
so?
my
I think
question.
nobody who's
yeah.
on a dating app is looking
For friends.
Like, let's be honest. It's just we're afraid.
It's
It's like for a girl to. I think it's different for a girl, obviously. Like, I think it's a bit scarier opening up to
Okay.
guys than it is for a guy to open up to guys. It's just the context of the world and just the way things are.
yeah.
So I think it's like a little bit of a safety.
Okay.
like,
Yeah, a
I'm
bit
just
of a
looking for a friend,
guard,
Just the
because
time to
to
figure
tell
you out.
it's more like a signal to the
Exactly.
guys that they're swiping.
Yeah.
That it's not, I'm just not looking for a hookup.
Because you go on a
It's-
date with that person, you fucking vibe.
Yeah.
Like, what? Is she gonna be like, I'm just looking for a
Yeah,
friend.
I'm just
Like,
looking for a
if
friend.
you get along, then obviously it's gonna become something. So
Right.
it's like you're going into this with the hopes that it is gonna be something. It's a bit dishonest. For me, I see that as someone who's not comfortable in themselves. when I
Right.
see that. Because you're on Tinder and Bumble, what attracts me is that you know why the fuck you're there.
Mm.
and
Yeah, okay.
You're confident and mature enough to just admit that.
Yeah.
Because what is that? You know, I don't want to fake a
Yeah, like, you want a
friendship
relationship,
for
you
the
want
next-
something casual.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
Same.
maybe you do
from
really
my
just want to be
experience-
friends.
From my experience, just being super straight up about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Even on your like.
So-
Not that I've had super like loads of success and that I should be giving advice, but I feel like that's better. Like you want actually to meet someone that of value in your life that you can vibe with.
Because then that filters out the person that's not interested, and then
Exactly.
you just
You
go
don't
into
waste
it.
your time.
Yeah. Rather than swiping, 50
Yeah.
people a day, you're just kind of
Yeah.
swiping those couple of people
Exactly.
and hoping, I feel like if you're quite targeted that way, matches are better.
Yeah.
You might be getting a few less,
Yeah.
but in terms of the ones that you do get, like at least it's a lot easier to start a conversation and then kind of go
Well,
from
that's it.
there.
Yeah, you have already a few things to go. off of.
Exactly,
You
right?
don't-
Rather
it's not-
than
yeah.
just like looking at some photos and being like, oh yeah, she looks hot.
Yeah,
And
she's
then-
hot.
Yeah.
That's not the way.
Don't
to
get me
go.
wrong, I'll still do that, but
Yeah, you can do that every now and then, but you do it knowing it's never gonna get anywhere.
Right.
In fact, sometimes they might even match you, and you're like, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's
That's
no
the
way we're gonna
thing.
vibe. But
yeah.
you
Yeah,
just-
there's some matches that I got where like these girls are absolutely stunning. I'm like, A, way out of my league, or B, this girl is a guy. Because I'm like, holy shit, like it's just not real. But
she's so out of my league that she must be a guy.
That's how I justify it too. Like,
attracted to me.
she's not attracted to me. Must be a guy or a lesbian.
Reflect
Just,
on the
That's my own ego fucking
Yeah,
protecting
you know what?
itself.
For me, it's like I think a lot of the photos, or what photos you decide to put up, say a lot about you. So a lot of girls who are like obviously beautiful, but all their photos are just like flaunting their beauty.
like
I'm
selfie,
like,
selfie,
well, yeah,
selfies.
what does that mean about you? You know, where's your personality? Are you literally relying on your attractiveness slash?
It becomes less
image to-
attractive from a
yeah,
guy's
That's not a
perspective.
personality.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you're not showing yourself.
Right.
You're just well, it's fully external. Like just I don't know. That always put me off. And it was always the gorgeous girls. Like,
Hmm.
they're just half their pics are them at a fancy hotel sipping on champagne. Or
I wonder what kind of
fucking
pics. Like,
expensive food.
I've never really seen what the other. I mean, like some of my girlfriends have shown me, you know, what comes on Tinder and all of
For
that.
guys.
For guys.
a lot of topless
Yeah,
photos that I heard, which
and,
I thought was
um,
hilarious.
But I've never.
Guilty.
Yeah,
Guilty.
you're a personal
Hey, mate,
trainer. You have something.
you gotta do what
to
you
be fair,
gotta
all
do,
the guys
mate.
who do it have something to show.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you.
Mm.
Flaunt your
Yeah.
strengths, you know.
Exactly.
But at the same time, us skinny dudes look at you and we're like, "Fuck you."
Dude, honestly, angle, lighting, post pump, you can still get it going.
Post pump.
Well, post like workout pump.
Yeah, post
Oh,
pump.
okay.
It's like if you. I actually saw.
like he's like after sex, just like,
I thought you were talking
this is
about
when
a
I
dick
look
pump.
best. Post pump.
I just got my dick pumped. Like it looks
Gym
huge.
pump, gym pump.
So,
Quick, take a photo of this.
if you're a PT, you know you know the rules around taking a photo of yourself topless.
Mm.
You know the
You do.
intricacies.
You do.
You do. Wait, let's get into this.
You do. But listen,
Oh
this is what I
no,
was
it's like
watching.
lighting
Yeah.
and.
Can you help me take a sexy topless photo after this?
100%. I'll get
Give me
you
all
in a
your
nice lighting
PT
room and then.
your PT tips, bro.
Let's
Arjav
change
and I,
all
if
of
you
our.
can make Arjav and I look fucking shredded with angles and lights,
I'm taking
I'll believe you.
I'll believe
both
it.
of you at the same time, same
Just
photo.
look shredded. Just through like camera
put your
trickery and
grind-
angles.
A lot of
You're
Photoshop.
shredding. Don't worry about it. No, dude, Sean gave me tips.
I'll just like inject some.
That's the
tread.
thing though. Like, girls will be so disappointed then when they see me in person. It's
No,
like,
No, but I've had that
Ah.
before. I've had that before. Like obviously, like the angle and okay, you have abs, whatever it is. And
What's
like,
your standards for
I-
a like, dude, bro? You're pretty much.
yeah, but
Dude, if this girl's
No, no, no.
disappointed in you,
Dude,
well, I don't even have a chat.
She's
What the
fine.
fuck's going on?
It's
What's
just like-
wrong with her?
like they're just like no names, but I remember she's just like, hey, you're not that big. I was like, well, fuck you then.
You are though.
I know, bad,
Fucking-
definitely not big,
bro.
but
Oh, bro.
That's
No,
harsh.
but like, what are you looking for?
Mhm.
Like, you know, I
That's
don't
the
know.
thing, that's
She
the
wanted
thing.
like a tall dude, maybe. Height can sometimes maybe be a deal.
probably height is a huge advantage for
I
everybody.
have
Yeah.
to be super honest about my height, otherwise it's like
Mhm.
super disappointing for people.
Yeah.
I wonder.
It's again, it's like filtering it out,
Yeah.
right? The girls don't want to date you because you're short. It's a bit
Oh,
like,
yeah,
well,
like, fuck those.
how obnoxious
Fuck that
would you
shit.
be?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if we got together,
Yeah.
how obnoxious would you actually be? 'Cause
Also,
it's
to a
something
certain
so
extent, to a
superficial.
certain extent, I don't blame them because
I know,
I
you
wouldn't
don't.
want to date someone who's very tall.
Super tall.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like put it on there. Like it just sounds shallow to
Mm.
put that on there. You just
It does.
swipe
It does.
accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they show you your height. Actually. Been out the game for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can sort of understand. But as a short person, I get butthurt. I get pretty butthurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Short people.
it's a bit over. I mean, it's
We're
like the
not short
same as, you know, being attractive
We have a lot to
or,
offer.
you know, something else. It's a bit like, you know, you're just born with facial symmetry.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get butthurt at everybody who's attractive now because, you know,
I mean, there's.
You're not as attractive?
No, for sure.
Like-
You got to figure out what it is you bring. And,
Right.
No
But
matter
I mean,
what,
there's
but-
like fucking like 7+. Is it 8 billion now? People around the world.
Mm.
Is it now?
something 7.5, something like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
you're always gonna find someone who you're gonna be attracted to and they're gonna be attracted to. It's just in the beholder, as cringy as it sounds.
Sure.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But
I think there's a lot of getting to know yourself first. It's
Yeah.
hard. Like I think that's the first step. It's
Yeah.
so easy to say like self-love first before you can like
you
learn to
really.
love, but it's fucking true. And not just
It's-
that. It's not just self-love. It's like knowing who the fuck you are. Like,
Who the
I don't
fuck
even
you
think
are
I
and what the
knew-
fuck you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
unless
What
if
do
you just
need for
keep
yourself?
going into things blind, like it's high school,
Exactly.
then it's
That's
just
high school.
gonna,
That's the difference between adulthood and
right.
not.
You'd actually
It's
being a
your
little bit
ability to
mature in
know
your
who you are and make
relationships.
decisions
Yeah.
according to yourself as you know and honestly
Right.
know, and I
But-
think that goes into your
But high school, I mean, growing up in high school, you really conform
big
to your
time.
fears about like setting into that social setting. Like we're sociable creatures,
Mm.
so we almost like protect ourselves from fears
Yeah.
For
of
sure.
what we actually believe in, and then we like conform to like, oh, this social group is might accept me, so I'm gonna just
Yeah.
focus on that.
I saw
Yeah.
a thing about that actually, and Jamie, you can look that up. Young Jamie. But it's
Pull it up.
they did like pull it up, Jamie. They did a test. Well, essentially, when you're younger, you're so much more susceptible to conforming to the pack for acceptance and shit. And that's obvious, right? But they've done tests to prove that with like I think it was like a driving simulator thing, and they had like young like adolescents drive. Like it's like a certain obstacle course, and you have to drive safely. Just try to clear it without bumping on anything. Adults and like adolescents do it, and they all score similar-ish results in the beginning.
Right.
And then they redo the test with adolescents with their friends in the room,
Okay.
and then that changes everything. Right? And the adolescents start fucking like crashing a bit more because it's that. You know, they're
Right.
influenced by their friends who are fucking around or whatever, because it's a game. I guess they're a bit more, and that can reflect
To real life too. I feel like that's 100%.
A lot of the bad decisions you make as an adolescent is just because you're like, dude, I just
You're with
wanted to
friends,
be cool.
yeah.
I
Like
just
it's
wanted to-
literally.
Yeah,
There's so many
everybody
things
else
that
was
I've
doing
done
it. I
that
didn't want to
look
be the
back
one guy
now.
who's like, guys, should we be doing this?
Yeah.
No, you just want to be the guy who's like,
Yeah, fuck yeah, I would do that. Let's fucking do it.
Fucking,
100%.
So many like dumb shit that we've all done
Fucking hell.
in the name of fitting in.
High school days.
Which I think detaching yourself to that is a key aspect of adulthood. I say this as a very incomplete adult with many flaws, and I totally succumb to peer pressure.
Oh, but less now.
Occasionally, less now.
Less
Hopefully there's a
now.
good reason
Yeah.
to, and I'm like, you know, maybe I will let myself this time, but yeah, I think I'm definitely better with that.
Well, don't you think it was don't you think it would be pretty crazy if we all went to like local schools growing up?
Dude, I don't know if we would actually survive. You know, like
Survive?
I don't know if I would fucking survive.
Well, I mean, the
my
context
time-
where we speak Cantonese and we can
Okay.
fit in, like, I think it's alright.
My dad got fucking bullied, got punched in the face. Like,
Did you go to local school?
went to local school.
Damn, I didn't
That's
know
a
that.
different time as well, potentially.
Yeah, it was
Like,
back in
you
the
know, much more.
like
Yeah.
I was it 70s.
He grew up in Hong Kong, your dad?
You go to Hong Kong, yeah.
That's wild, I didn't know that.
Well, he was in India from Pune, then moved to Hong Kong because his dad had his business, and
Oh,
then
that's
went
a
to
local
local school.
here.
That's why he could speak Cantonese. So
What
Damn.
age did he? What age was he when he?
he must have been 5 when he moved to Hong Kong.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck, so he speaks really good Cantonese.
I mean, yeah, but he didn't learn Cantonese through the educational system. He learned it from like picking up during like his work days.
Oh,
Okay.
so how did he survive in local school? Was it like an English stream?
I don't know. I don't actually like I can't recall, but it must have been some sort of
Check
like,
with your pops.
Yeah,
That's
just-
a really cool upbringing, bro. I mean, that's true. And I can imagine it must have been tough. Though.
yeah. I mean, in a way, he had his
Yeah.
own like building, how he built his confidence up like that. And
Yeah.
I'm sure he still remembers it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to get punched in the face every week or every other
Oh,
week.
For sure.
So-
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, especially if you don't speak the language on top of not
You're
looking
an
like
you're
everyone
an
else.
outcast.
Yeah.
I went to Japanese primary school. It's
You
like
did.
One
How was
of
that
the
for you?
only white kids like there. There was like another white kid.
Right.
Like
Were you
in the-
ostracized at all? Because you could speak Japanese though. when you-
Yeah, the thing is, I could speak back then, especially. I was pretty much a little Japanese
Right.
kid, just
Just
different
looking half
ethnicity.
white.
Just looking white, yeah. And if anything, I think
I'm albino Japanese.
Yeah. I think it definitely helped that I was white too. I
Right.
think of all the other ethnicities that I could have been in Japanese school, the experience would have been very different.
Well,
But if you speak good Japanese, you know, normally kids will just.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was later on, like
That you'll
as you got older,
experience,
that
yeah.
the people got more aware of the differences.
Right.
I got treated a bit differently later on. That's why it was kind of nice to move to international school from then. Like it was like around P6 where I was like,
interesting.
girls were definitely not seeing me as like a viable candidate
Yeah.
because they're like, he's too different. He's weird. You know?
Yeah.
It was a trip.
Yeah, you never know, man. You just
I
could've
can
stuck it
definitely
out.
relate to your dad. I didn't get punched in the face. Thank goodness. I punched someone in the face.
Really?
So you were the asshole kid.
I was the asshole. I was so-
Maybe that's why none of the girls wanted to fuck.
You know what? I spoke to one of my friends from school, like a couple years, you know, after graduating high school and everything. He sort of came back to Hong Kong and he was living in Japan, and like because my memory's terrible because I smoked too much pot. But
Guilty.
he was talking about it you know, growing up together, and he was like, yeah, you were a bad kid, bro. And I was like, I thought I was such a good kid, but I guess I was a bad kid. Maybe the standard for what a bad kid was.
I mean, this is Japanese standard of fact.
Maybe
So-
that's why, or maybe I said and did some shit that I didn't realize.
Are you being racist against Japanese people?
I don't know. I hope not.
Uh,
No, there's no chance. I thought of myself.
Tell them
as
to go
a
eat
Japanese
whales
person
and
back
dolphins
then.
and shit. Fuck you.
No, that was pre South Park.
Okay,
I
guys,
apologize
that's round 2.
on behalf of imperialist Japan.
Whoa! What is this?
Hey,
What's
that's
this?
That's not.
That's Sangs. But you want the whole ones for Sangs?
Yeah, dude.
Oh fuck yeah!
I know.
It's shots for Sean.
I ain't not no
Fucking
bitch.
around.
What is
Ain't no
this?
bitch. It's shots for Sean.
Shots for Sean.
Let's go. Round 2.
Round 2. Fight.
I would love to join in on the accents, but I'm gonna pass on that one.
You do Japanese one.
Round 2.
Fight.
Fucking hectic. The vodka.
Oh my god! I don't know why it's not.
It's not that bad, guys. Come on.
It's not that smooth, dude. Today for some
It
reason.
tastes like hand sanitizer.
It does.
Mm-mm.
It does.
You guys don't like hand sanitizer?
Exactly, hand sanitizer.
Is that not why you drink vodka, dude?
Yeah. Just take a little pump so if you leave the house, it keeps your insides clean.
Little pumps?
Yeah.
Holy
Holy
shit.
shit.
Pump.
Couple of just like
Oh,
squirts in
couple
your
pumps.
mouth.
How do you consume vodka? You have it in a pipette?
No,
I
that little like
carry my
hand
vodka.
sanitizer thingy. What the fuck you call it?
Some
Some hand
about
san-
vodka.
Uh,
You've got it in hand sanitizer. One for my hand.
Exactly.
Two for the hand.
Who for me?
Hardcore.
No, but like talking about high school, man, it was such a fucking weird time.
Dude,
It
it
was
was.
super exciting, but you know what? Like, I mean, talking about how to, like, did you get punched in the face? No, you punched someone else in the face.
He punched somebody else in the face.
In high school,
Yeah.
I slapped someone in the face.
You slapped someone in the face because I was a borderline bully, verbally bullying this kid, and I remember one time, like, it was in drama. We were doing like fake fighting on stage in front of everybody, and he fucking like blitzed me and punched me straight in the face.
He sees the opportunity.
Did you
see
deserve
the
it?
opportunity.
Probably.
And I was in the toilet, like full on bleeding in my mouth. And I was
Okay,
like,
that's a bit intense.
and I was like, I deserved it. It was 100% I deserved
That's
it.
cool that you could admit it. you
No,
know.
because it was just like I was a fucking cunt, and like I don't know, you just
You
trying
didn't.
to-
You didn't beat him up right after getting.
No, I was just
Oh,
like
so you were like one of the nice bullies.
I
So you're one of the cool
was
bullies.
no, but this is the thing about bullies. Like I got bullied when I moved here
Okay.
by a Japanese guy, nonetheless.
Oh,
Like on the
shit,
bus, he used to
bro.
give me so much shit until I got really pissed off one day and I started making fun of the fact that he had a really small nose.
Nose? You didn't go for the more obvious.
No, I don't. This was year 6, dude. I had a fucking also.
You
like,
hit him with the
Japanese
small down there
yeah.
in P6. You would have devastated.
Yeah.
him.
No, but even the nose devastated him. Like I was, but like I'm pretty sure it's not that bad of a thing. I just
You
kind
hit him
of
with the small nose.
Yeah.
And that fucked him.
for he didn't
Wow.
bother me for the rest of the fucking
Really?
year. Like it was
Nice.
just
He didn't.
no. Like
I hope-
to the
I
point
hope
he
he
just
was
like
really
shut up.
insecure about his
Literally
nose.
that day.
because you stood up to him.
Yeah, and it was just
That's
it's like
that is what you
I
need to
feel
do.
like I mean it's
just
I've never
you
been
can
bullied,
draw
so I
that
can't
line
say,
of being
but
like no.
I'm sure sometimes you get punched in the face for doing so, depending on your bully. But for the most part, it sounds like standing up to your bully is
Yeah,
is probably the
one
best
of the
solution.
go-to moves. I
Yeah.
it's
guess.
imperative.
Yeah.
It's definitely imperative.
Hmm.
It was I was playing with Citizen I think in 2012, and I think I was 18 and 19, and there was this player, and obviously I was new and I wasn't the best player. I was playing
on your team.
yeah,
own
yeah.
team.
I was trying to get contracted, and I was very, very nervous, and too many things going in my head. And like, I remember I did a hard tackle, but it's football at the end of the day, and it was just training, and I was not malicious. And he came up to me, and he was being fucking racist, and he just like, yeah, you got some fucking dirt in your face, blah blah blah, all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, that's
So I kicked him in the balls.
That's
Nah,
pretty low part.
I didn't do anything, but I stood face to face with him, and I didn't
Mhm.
back down. And ever since
Yeah.
then, he didn't really do much. But like, if I see him again now, like fast forward 10, 12 years, like, let's see what happens now if we play on the field.
Fair.
I mean, I think
Let's
the
see,
best
let's see.
thing every time is to not have that sort of revenge mentality.
Hmm.
Because you were the bigger man by just standing there and not reacting.
But
you
I
know
was
what mean?
shitting myself.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. And I think at the end of the day, he has to live with the fact that he made some,
Some
pretty ignorant
outlandish said
comments,
some
you know what I
things
mean?
which are just not
most
nice.
of the time, if you're an adult, you're going to reflect on that in some
Yeah.
way.
But
Unless, obviously, you're
I would
so,
hope so.
far deeply removed from,
Yeah.
the fucking world that
Social
you have super, that you can
interaction,
live with
yeah.
yourself after saying that shit.
Right.
But like I've had like I see in Legal League D3 we had a team that we had some serious beef with. Like
we have a few players on our team that are like pretty aggressive. So
By the way, League is like a amateur league in Hong Kong. It's a football league.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
yeah. But there's like it's the same with Japan, same with Hong Kong, same with a lot of Asian countries. There's a subtle racism that really only comes out when it's like forced out of someone in a way.
Yeah.
But everybody's super amicable and polite, and then amicable and polite, and then one thing goes down, and then it all comes out.
That's based
one
on
Indian player who, made 1 or 2 bad tackles and was a little bit aggressive, and it's cool to get upset at him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would understand if they were just pissed at him. But then it became about race. And that was like kind of...
No, but that's the thing. In here, I always find that it's always something that's there in the background.
Right.
Like, at least in... I don't know too much about the Western countries, but like especially Europe and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll say about the US and to some extent the UK.
Yeah.
Where things like this, you can... Yeah, you'll get some really racist people who will just say outright outlandish shit.
Yeah.
But majority of people will actually be like, what is this? This is not a representation of what most of us feel.
Right.
Whereas here, nobody actually says things like that. But these kind of feelings that a lot of people have is actually a representation of the majority. And I'm not saying whether it's like out of, it's mostly out of ignorance, because the fact that, they haven't actually interacted with people who are
I think a real testament to your, just your openness and just how, non-judgmental you are of people based on their ethnicity is how you react when you're emotional. Like, it's all good being not racist when
things are good.
But when, hey, you have a problem with someone of a different ethnicity, and your first go-to
is
like, hey, you got dirt on your face, or like, hey, you're,
then it's already, the
it's
fact that
oh, that's something you deeply...
You think they're less than you because of the race.
Right.
It's
and
not
you're
like,
use
dude, you suck at football, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Then it's like, it's not even
no
about the
point
race.
should it ever be about the race.
Right.
And it sucks that it is. It's all good being totally accepting when you're nobody's pissing you off.
Yeah.
If it comes out when you're pissed off, that's still a problem.
It is.
You
100%.
need to reflect on that. And I think that's a lot of the times the level of racism that you experience in Asia.
Yeah.
Nobody will tell you upright.
Yeah.
But if you have any issue, if they have any issue with you, that's the
That's
first
the
thing
first
they'll be
thing
like,
they go for.
they'll start putting all the stereotypes on you. They'll throw that shit at you. And I think that's more of a testament of that.
Pent up, built up sort of.
Right. Like, you can't not talk about these things, but the problem is we don't.
Nobody here wants to, because there's no outright racism, so they're just a bit like, oh, you're being dramatic, until something like this happens, and then you realize, no, we're not being dramatic, you're just, this is a constant thing. So
exactly. If it's
there,
it comes out subtly. Or
exactly.
I mean, obviously, I say this, I have... I don't really experience it maybe to the extent that you guys might do out here.
It's not bad, but it definitely happens. Especially certain types of individuals and stuff. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
I just feign it to ignorance. They just don't have.
Right.
They've never really
exactly.
Because you look at a lot of local peoples that we went to school with. I'm still friends with them, and I don't think ever once actually experienced or I've experienced racism how we're racist to each other. Like, I'll make fun of Japanese, you make fun of Indians.
We were actually talking about this before.
And then, I can make fun of a Chinese guy and he can make fun of me for being Indian and having the accent. But it's the fact that we grew up with each other and we know each other's culture so much that it's not really a racist thing.
It's definitely not the word for it, or not a healthy word to use, but play. No, I don't even want to say
playful
racism. It's not even that. It's not that. It's just like we all meet each other on a level. Especially when you're you grow up as a third culture kid.
Yeah.
And you're all meeting, you all go to international school. You're all different.
None of you are fitting in with the local crowd.
In fact, none of the personalities.
Even the local people are Canadian local or something, so they're not local.
Your personality is never a reflection of your ethnicity. If you meet enough people, you realize everybody's just a human.
Right.
And I think that's where I can understand where people, they might hear us talk to each other and do an Indian accent, each other, or a Japanese accent, and they might be like, "Oh, those guys."
That's so racist,
But honestly, for us, I feel like it's the healthiest thing.
I agree. I've never felt every time you've done it, I've never once felt and I hope it's the same way.
No, absolutely. It's hilarious to me because the thing we were talking about this earlier. It's a reflection of, if anything, nobody knows. Your ability to be comfortable talking about that and the points you'll make and the jokes you'll make really reflect how much you understand about the culture versus how little you know. So it's not ignorance. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, I'll fucking
It's
I'll
the
straight
fact
up
that you-
use I'll be like banking order bitch
Yeah.
or like I'll use words. Like I'll actually I'm not just like like the old school like dot in your head dude who knows nothing about India joke. It's like we're really trying to get into like the you know,
The
we
crux
know
of it.
each other in the
Yeah.
culture well enough.
But that's the way that like
it's a
Indian
healthy-
people would make fun of each other,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
Oh,
you know,
really?
'cause
Okay.
none of us are really happy with. There's always things about your own culture where you're
Oh, yeah,
like
absolutely.
making fun of, or you
Yeah,
know that this is something
or
that
it
you're
gets made fun of.
it gets made fun of, and you're a bit like when somebody understands that it's not just like out of stereotypes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's the subtle things. That's like this guy knows. Okay.
I love it, man.
I love
Honestly,
it
to
too.
I think it's
like,
great. I think it's
yeah,
great. I
yeah,
think it
between
actually
friends.
brings people closer together in a
Absolutely.
way.
Sure.
It's so funny because at the end of the day, like I mean, as cliche as it sounds, we're all gonna fucking die. So
Right.
just fucking enjoy it and like be close with the friends that you have,
For sure.
and don't take too much offense to it because like
Absolutely.
really,
Yeah.
if you do take offense to it, it's gonna fucking stress the shit out of you out.
Absolutely.
100%. It's only gonna stress you out
Yeah.
rather than
And
the
I think-
racist person is not gonna give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're
No,
not gonna
that's
change
it.
because of you.
Exactly.
And it's only really
Exactly.
you who's gonna get angry.
You know, in the context where someone you don't know starts doing an Indian accent to you, that's like fuck you for sure.
yeah.
Friends, you know, close friends especially you grew up with, you know, fucking you should be able to say anything about each other. You know, I
I
think
agree.
that's a healthier friendship than a friendship where you tiptoe around each other's like
Yeah.
you know, fuck that.
Little sensitivities
I
and
want
things
genuine
like that.
friendships where we can be, you know, real with
Outright.
each other. Fucking, if anything, just say the most outlandish shit
Yeah.
to each other, and it doesn't matter.
Knowing that we are not 100% quite serious about it. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
Exactly.
know there's no malice.
There's
being
no
Exactly.
malice, exactly. We
Right.
know each other well enough that the intention is so clear,
right.
like not even a bit clear, but so clear that it's like
This is
all you
all
want
about
to do
humor.
is like laugh about
Laugh
it and
and
like
make
come
fun.
back with
Yeah.
the same
All-
accent or the other person's
Yeah.
accent and just like make. If anything, it's role playing.
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. It's really a topic that I find quite interesting because I think for us it's. And a
But-
lot of people around the world, it's different. You
I'll
know?
say one thing to the first point you said that like what's a good thing that's come out of COVID. Like this
Yeah,
conversation
yeah,
is just
yeah.
it's more the idea that I'm so much more closer with the people who are here. So I just want to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shout out to all the homies,
Jamie.
Boys, hey, young Jamie.
young Jamie.
He
But
moves on
basically
his
the
phone.
fact that
And-
we are all stuck here together. Like for the last 2 years, we haven't, most of us at least haven't been able
Yeah.
to see family and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we are the family here.
Yeah, that's
you
it.
know,
You-
it's
we give
it's-
each other some. We
it's
fulfill some of
support
that
and
thing we're
it's
all
the
missing.
void, exactly.
And you know
Absolutely,
what?
I feel you. I
You're
feel you
always
on that.
growing. You're always still getting better. I
Yeah.
believe. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes people don't see it. That they're like, yeah, I'm not getting better. I'm not getting results. But actually, you are getting better daily and daily because
Sure.
you don't really have an option but to grind out and see the crevasses of like, okay, maybe I'm not traveling. Maybe I'm not like progressing to where I want to be. But like the things you do daily, eventually, it stacks up. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I mean, it's challenging times these
Yeah.
last few years, and just that in itself is forcing us to adapt to new things. And I think there's a lot. I mean, if we're talking about silver linings about COVID, actually, there's a lot that I think we
Yeah.
gained from it that we wouldn't have been able to gain
Hmm.
without something like this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was talking about this the other day. I'm really interested to see how the world, like post COVID, what's the world gonna be?
Right. How
You know,
normal
I
is
can-
normal gonna be?
Right, how normal is normal going to be? And obviously, you know, things are changing so drastically
Mm.
all the time anyway. So, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be such a relief when shit, you know, boils down. And we've all had this common experience together
Yeah.
all around the world.
Right.
I hope
Like,
that somehow it brings us together. you
For
know,
me,
and
that was
we-
supposed to be the thing where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, COVID, it sucks and all of this, but
All of
maybe this is
together.
going to be that
Yeah,
thing
that
that we're
change,
all
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's an external,
Exactly.
threat to us.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
all need to band together
Yeah,
as the
exactly.
human race.
I think we can all
There's
agree
no-
pre-COVID that things weren't great either. You know,
No.
whether it's
Yeah,
politics,
yeah,
or
yeah.
protests,
The world
all
was
around
so
the world.
divided, right?
So divided. And I'm like, I think this common experience. I mean, I think the biggest silver lining, hopefully, will be post-COVID. We'll see some. I mean, obviously, there's been so many
Unification
changes
or
already.
something.
We've been able to explore things like working from home, maybe chiller working hours. You know, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I
Yeah.
think it'll be interesting to see how people react post-COVID
Hmm.
and how the world will look.
Yeah.
You know, what's the landscape going to be like?
People are going to be going back to the offices? Or
Yeah, or will it, you know, will work hours start to become a bit more flexible?
Yeah.
Will
Right.
people realize that mental health plays a huge part in how productive people
You
can be?
actually are?
Yeah.
Because I was reading about this Swedish CEO, this is probably like on the news, where he's letting people come in whatever hours they need to be, but the idea is you get what you put in. So it's more, if you want to come in and you want to work for 2 hours a day, but you're fucking hyper focused and you can get 10 hours worth of work done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, you know, generally possible for a lot of jobs, but
Yeah.
for a few of them they are, I would
Yeah.
say. And it's like, it's something like that to happen.
Yeah.
It would be,
I think also
things
like when you're
change.
taken care of as an employee, you want to do as much as you can for the company. I think really put simply in that sense. Like I think about, you know, I'm fucking super lucky in my life to be able to work with, you know, people that I would consider my friends and people who really, you know,
Trust you and all.
trust me and also, you know, will listen to me if I'm going through something, give me the space, or will always be flexible enough to, you know,
that's awesome.
accommodate my needs. And like as a, you know, my reaction to that is I want to be the most fucking efficient I can be and useful I can be to you guys.
Right.
I'll outright refuse a pay raise just because I'm like, dude, like let me fucking
Actually
save you guys
earn
some money.
this
Let me
shit.
fucking earn this shit. So I think
That's dope.
there's a lot to that, and I think it'd be interesting to see companies implement that because I think, you know, that human nature side of things is really important, and I think the last 10 years it's great that, you know, we've been able to industry and everything we've been able to develop so quickly and work hard and stuff, but I think
we're losing the human touch.
We're losing the human touch.
And that's the thing, you know, we're
Yeah.
getting more and more productive, but for the sake of our humanity.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you want to really become more and more like robots?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
the fact that we have machines that can do the work of 100 men.
Right. We have to
From like 2,000 years ago, and now we're still fucking slogging and doing all this shit.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, is it gonna get to a point where some of us can fucking chill out?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And naturally, it's gonna, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not gonna be as many jobs available. There's so many things where we have to start to adapt.
So I'm not entirely like educated on. I mean, obviously you've heard about the metaverse and all that kind of stuff, but like, what I know of is that if you are in the metaverse, it's pretty fucking crazy that, like, you know, when you buy NFTs and stuff, like that's the new flex of buying like a Rolex watch.
Right.
Like, for example, if you're at a club and you buy an NFT of like a painting and stuff like that,
Right.
girls would be like, "Oh, fucking on your place."
I don't know if NFTs work that way.
I mean,
I don't know if
I've
they
bought
have-
plenty, and I have. Do you see any girls
An
around here?
I guess it can be a flex. It can be a flex.
So like,
Yeah.
I could basically go be in the metaverse, and like say for example, you have a metaverse house.
Right.
And I could go
like,
teleport
put
there.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And that's fucking crazy.
I mean, that's gonna be super interesting.
But isn't that fucking scary? Like,
scary?
because in the sense
I can
The
understand
thing is,
the
like,
the
this
fear
is
around
this
it,
is
but-
not that. Have you ever played like this? There was a game called RuneScape like 20 years ago,
Okay, yeah.
and you could do literally the
RuneScape.
same shit, and it was
Okay.
literally the same. You could get people to come into your house, and you could have massive flex like, oh yeah, I'm level 99 construction. I got
Level
fucking
99 construction.
this massive throne that cost me, you know, 10,000
Yeah,
fucking.
but now this
million.
is legit stuff because people are actually paying millions of dollars
Right.
for this shit. It's fucking wild.
Hey man, people
think
got too much
NF
money.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
I like the
interesting how that
concept of
shit,
an NFT because it's,
Okay.
you know, it's the idea that you're owning a digital thing, like an asset or something. You know, it's like owning the rights to a piece of art.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the things that are out there right now, people have just overpriced it for no reason.
Right.
Where you're just a bit like,
I
you
know
Yeah,
a
know,
lot
but
of
what
you're
are you
not
pricing
fucking
it
Van
based
Gogh.
off? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's exactly, you know, you're not Van Gogh, you're not fucking somebody who's, you know, Michelangelo that you're, oh, okay, wow, this is
Yeah.
actually something that's worth this much money.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just people saying that it is.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a circle jerk,
Shit.
but, you know.
It is. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people taking advantage of stupid people in that. field.
Yeah, and that's what makes me
which is the
sad.
problem is the
Mm.
fact that it's really, if you wanted to dabble in that shit, you
Yeah,
should
it becomes like
really educate yourself a lot on what you're doing. You know.
Yeah.
Too many people will just take their fucking friend's word for what to buy. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think the most interesting thing for NFTs for me is where gaming and crypto and NFT sort of
Yeah.
meet. And I think that's where I think it's going to be. Just cool in general. Just imagine playing a game and you have a unique item that only you and a few people have access to.
That's
If you can actually
That- yeah.
apply it onto something, you know, NFT sometimes I'm like, it's so useless. I mean, like, you know, these
Yeah.
fucking billionaire apes, or I don't actually know the names of these NFTs too well, but all these like pretty shit pieces of art that end up, you know, everybody just because they're well marketed and well promoted, and because everybody sort of
Gets
just
onto the
accepts
hype.
that it's gonna be this hype. You know, it becomes it's like this totally invisible value that we sort of apply to things. And I'm like, you know, I like things to actually feel like they're worth the value we give them.
Right.
And a lot of NFTs do not look or feel like they reflect
They
the
deserve
value that
that.
they deserve. It's just
Yeah.
people who had capital who were on it early, so
Right.
they got enough, you know, people to get
Yeah.
on it that
I know,
now
I
this
agree.
fucking dumbass looking monkey is like
Yeah.
shit to buy, or this
The
fucking
Hong Kong
super
the cat,
pixelated
that was the
shitty
fucking,
zombie. Fucking, there's so much stupid shit out there.
It's a bit.
And it's really all just people are hoping that it's like it's for a lot of people it's just a Hail Mary gamble of making money.
They're just hoping it's
You're
like
just
the next
hoping
Hello
they'll buy
Kitty,
this thing
and
and
somebody's
it's-
gonna
exactly.
it's gonna catch
Yeah.
on
It's
and
not
just
how it
gonna
works.
become the
I
next
think really
fucking-
you to really get the most out of it, you
Yeah.
probably just need to have enough money to buy the big fucking NFTs.
Right.
And then sell it to some bozo who fucking, you know, you can overprice it to and get, you know, decent cash off it. But it's very predatory at the moment is what I'd
Right.
say.
Okay.
But there's a lot of interesting
Good that could come out.
good
of
that
it.
you know,
Yeah.
and for me it's more like these NFTs that have applications outside of just like ooh fucking following a trend is
yeah,
cool.
a piece of digital something.
Sandbox, you know, fucking Decentraland, all this cool shit that's popping out. They even I think they're gonna make a Pokemon
Are you serious?
where so each Pokemon is gonna have unique stats. So you could all have a bunch of Pikachus, but your Pikachus will all have somewhat unique features and
Right.
stats that will then play into
Oh,
you
that's
can
cool.
enter tournaments, all kinds of
Right.
shit. I think that's interesting. I think when it comes to evolving the game industry to like this super cool area we can start to make money, we're not gonna have jobs in the future. We need to find ways to fucking make
Yeah,
money and
let's
have
go
fun
with
as
the
our
fucking
population.
robotic
Shit like that
so.
might end up being how we sort of
Spend most of our time.
spend our time, make a
Yeah.
living. I don't know. I really don't know. But
Mm.
it's going to be interesting, I think, the next 10 years or so to see how, if crypto pops off, the metaverse pops off. Like, I think reality is going to change drastically. How we interface, or how we survive in this world, it might
Yeah.
change quite drastically from jobs to
Or
social interactions,
the
a lot of things.
volcanoes around Earth could explode. And
Just
be-
explode.
Or
and then,
exactly.
yeah.
Just goes
And it's-
full
we
on
go back to tribal
Yeah.
fucking. That'd be interesting because I feel like we'd all be so useless. It's so
100%.
funny, like how
You
we have
You
all this,
watch
we're
like
the most
Man vs.
advanced-
Wild, and you think you're fucking
Oh, no, you
boss
can't-
and
you can't
baller.
do shit.
I
I'm
bet you
dead.
couldn't even go camping
No.
outside for
No,
like a
right,
day
dude.
without
I'll
just
try
being like,
hunting for like
this is
a
too
couple
hard.
hours.
Too many
Give
mosquitoes.
up.
I don't want to shit in a fucking
Mosquitoes,
porta
yeah.
potty, whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh,
You know what I
such a
miss the
piece of shit.
most actually during COVID? Like, I want to fucking go I used to do hiking in Nepal in base camp and Kilimanjaro and stuff like that. Dude, that is something I miss so
out
much.
the
Just
window nowadays, eh?
being closer to nature is I
No.
don't have it as much, and I know Hong Kong is a 60% greenery and stuff like that.
It's different. It's different in
It's
Hong
different
Kong.
like
You
that.
can never really get away from the city, which is also a
you
great
can,
thing.
though. But yeah, I feel
you
I
can,
feel
but you always
really-
have to return.
You gotta
back to the
return. Yeah,
center.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like you
That's
feel
true.
like you can, but really, there's you have to be really in a remote part of like
No,
Cycling or
absolutely.
something.
Yeah, yeah. I think what
But-
I'm more pertaining to is the fact that there's actually some pretty
Oh no, in that sense,
Crazy,
it's very
beautiful
green
places.
and that,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Cycling really
But
surprised me. a
You
little bit.
like you will cycling's a bit different because it's
Yeah.
like you will only be looking towards China or the sea.
Sure.
But if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like anywhere that's a bit more on the mainland or Hong Kong Island, but it's
Yeah.
like you will almost always see
Yeah, the
civilization.
cities, yeah, the cities.
If you
yeah.
just get to a high enough point, you'll be like, there's the city. It's
There's
actually
that
not that
goddamn
far.
building.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Mm.
I mean, I'm such a city boy that I don't
Versus,
even think I miss nature too much.
Yeah.
You don't miss nature too much?
No, I think also living in Psycho in the past 3 years has given me my fill of nature.
Okay.
Right.
fine,
But
fair enough.
there's something about cities that definitely like.
There's just like a roar
I'm more
in the
attracted to
background. You know, if you just listen to a city, there's just like traffic and
There's always
noise.
some noise. Yeah, yeah.
There's just a
That's
crowd
true.
cheering you on. There's just
There's a
something.
crowd you. That's
Yeah.
a positive way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, some people look at it as just too much noise. It all depends on your perspective,
No,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely,
true.
absolutely.
If you're a city boy, then cities are great.
But I think
Yeah.
from time to time it's nice to go to nature and like, dude, like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just it just clears your head. You're not
That-
away from shit.
That's.
like,
I think
Yeah.
I prefer the balance of living in the city and being able to go to the nature when you
Right.
want, versus living in nature like in Cycling. I was in the fucking
okay,
mountain
fine.
and then going to the city when I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like that's cool, but I prefer the balance of like
Yeah.
I'm in the city most of my time. And obviously that's depends on people, but
Right.
It's so
growing up
funny.
in Hong Kong, I think there's something about it that's socializing too, bro.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
socializing.
I love the fact that our friendship group now is sort of like Tin Hao Tai Hang is sort of becoming the base, and Happy Valley too with you.
Right.
But it's imperative because people. I mean, no names. I don't want to say any names, but it's so important to socialize.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the more.
Hey.
Hey.
The more you stay in your bubble, you're gonna get in your own head. Not in like a offensive way, but like I think we are sociable creatures, as I said before, and I think it's really important. Even if you don't want to see your friends, you should actually make the effort
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it goes a
100%.
long way.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Because I mean, whatever it is, you can have a fun time. You can disagree with a few things, but like, you can get a lot of good support system,
Yeah.
and that could propel you
I mean,
to a
if you-
lot of good
Oh,
things.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, we're
yeah.
social beings.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. There's no,
Yeah.
like, you cannot fight it anthropologically or, like, scientifically.
Sure.
Okay.
We all, like, grew up in tribes and kind of, that's the idea.
It's
that
yeah,
we're
You
just
go-
social
it's a
beings.
necessity, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
We rely on each other. No one's an island. You
Yeah.
can't.
I
And
would
the idea
I would
you-
argue that there's healthy social groups and unhealthy social groups. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Mm.
If
nowadays-
there's definitely a lot of
Uh,
toxic.
Well, you're
Yeah.
smart enough to
It's
weed
just-
them out,
Yeah.
right? You
I mean,
were
I think
smart
though-
enough to
I
weed
think-
them out too, Aarjav. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I would like
at
to
some
think
point in
so.
your life you have to go through like a purging
Mm.
or like
Ah.
a filtering of your friendship group. I
Yeah.
think that's super important. As you get to know
For me,
yourself.
I feel like it just kind of happened naturally. 'Cause,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I,
It
it
really
wasn't
does.
that I
Yeah.
was actively trying to purge,
Mm.
but I just stopped. I just like there were certain people that I was just like I don't really care
Yeah.
whether I go hang out with this person
Yeah,
or
yeah,
not
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not like I have.
But it's a lot
An
to do with your
amazing
security
time.
with yourself, right?
Yeah.
How secure you are with just like I don't need
Yeah, it
other
was
people
more.
to feel
I
okay
knew
about
I knew
me.
who I was,
Yeah.
and I'd found my people.
100%.
And then everybody else
Yeah,
was just
I
a bit
think,
like, well, if you're
You
gonna
know what?
fit
You
in.
know what I think helps a lot, and I don't want to be an advocate for this, but cannabis.
Well,
Cannabis,
I think
yeah.
honestly, cannabis makes it hard for you to lie to yourself.
What
You-
do you mean lie to yourself? As in, like,
As in,
do
like,
you think you're more honest in it when you
yeah, I
consume
think
it?
the reason why people are like a lot of times paranoid on cannabis is you can't pretend to, you can't put anything on weed. You can't be like, hey, what's up, bro? Like on alcohol, where you're just like,
right.
you're this other person
I-
who
But that's
suddenly
the
is.
ego that
I
accelerates.
agree, it is
so I
the
think
ego.
it gives you this
He's
comfort with
100%
yourself. Where you're
right.
like, you start to get to know yourself. You stop putting on all these like personalities or whatever to
Right.
fit in. Because you're like,
This
if
is
you're in a
me.
social context and you're high, you're like, I can't hide the fact that I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like-
and
I think
you
it
just,
teaches you a
if
lot.
it's like a natural state that if you're just with your friends, it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter whether you're high or you're
No,
sober.
yeah.
You're just you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And let's be honest, most of us require substances in order to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You think
In
so?
big social contexts.
Well,
Us hanging
well-
out as people who know each other well, I could be, sober. as
Totally
as
sober.
fuck,
wouldn't
it's
be a
fine.
big deal.
You take me to like a party, an event.
Okay.
I
okay.
need
There's
something,
definitely
otherwise it's it's
some
very easy for
people-
me to start to feel uncomfortable, out of place, just wanting to go home. And
Yeah.
cocaine, alcohol, you're talking, those are like the best
The big-
solution
yeah,
for that.
yeah.
Mm.
And how many of us are comfortable minus those things? Is the problem the context that we, meet each other in?
Right.
Is that, I don't know.
A few moments later.
Jamie, get some.
Jamie?
Young Jamie?
This is the last one?
Yeah, get
This
in on
last
the
one,
shots,
get in
bro.
on it, man.
Get the sound.
Ho!
Oh,
Benjamin!
God.
Get
Sorry.
Ben in this right
Okay.
here. Come on, bro. Get in
No,
on
no,
this.
no, no, no.
Disco Ben.
face mask. I completely forgot.
This is fucking fire.
I know.
Wow.
I had my mate's
Holy shit.
I've never seen you wear that.
60s birthday.
That's crazy.
60s party.
Cheers,
Yeah,
guys.
it was
Last
good.
episode, congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Last
Merry Christmas.
episode?
Merry Christmas to know.
Yes,
Last episode of the year.
of the year. We're gonna keep
Congratulations.
continuing.
Cheers, Bruce.
Cheers, boy.
Oh gosh.
I hate butter.
Okay, guys, we've got Ben here.
Dude, special
In his
guest,
own
Ben.
apartment. He's
This is my casual wear.
This is how he dresses.
This is my lounge wear.
Yeah.
This is past 9 p.m.
Just lounging.
he's happy to invite us here. So we're just gonna continue on. But what were we talking about?
With
earlier?
Ben on the side.
We were talking.
What were we talking about?
Hey, dude,
Metaverse
it's-
at some point?
No, it wasn't metaverse.
We didn't even smoke a doobie. Shit. I've forgotten already.
Yeah, but later.
I know, but the idea that we forgot.
You know what? I don't know. That breaks.
Fuck, it took a while. It took a while.
It took me out of it.
Shit.
What topics you got?
We're
What have you
talking
not
about
talked about?
NFTs.
Our favorite porn categories.
Ben, you're the perfect
Yeah,
guy.
no,
boobs.
no. This is the thing. We weren't talking about it earlier, but we were talking about the best thing that had come out of COVID. But I want to kind of touch up upon the topic of like what's been the most habitual thing you've done during COVID. Obviously, working from home was one of the things that you did, but I'm not gonna lie. I almost bought porn premium.
You almost bought.
Oh, what
premium
site though?
porn.
Pornhub, YouTube, Red Porn.
Pornhub.
Oh, okay.
Pornhub.
Checking browsers.
Yeah.
The list goes
Dude,
on.
I can't.
You guys know there's free porn
Yeah,
on the
there's free
internet.
porn.
right?
Yeah. I can't relate with people who
No, but listen,
purchase porn.
Pornhub
If you
premium.
unless you have like a very specific fetish and there's only like one site for that, then I understand. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But there's a lot of free porn out there.
dude.
But
it's
Pornhub
interesting.
Premium lures you into doing a 1 week free
Lures you-
trial.
Pornhub's
And then-
never like tempted me in any way.
Yeah.
Why?
No, it has
How
for
did they
like
lure
30
you?
seconds,
How
and
did
then
they
30
lure
seconds
you?
later, I'm like, I don't want to spend money on this.
Why
Fuck out of
spend money on
here.
this?
Do you get the
Only
ready?
30 seconds later. Isn't it?
Exactly. 30
That's
second
interesting.
max.
You know, I find this
They
might be an
keep your
uncomfortable
credit card.
topic, but I find it very interesting, like how different everybody's not just masturbation rituals, but like porn habits. You know, like some people download porn, which is fucking like.
I do that.
What do you
Porn
mean
is-
download porn? You can
Who
just.
downloads porn?
What, you don't download your favorite scenes?
No.
You don't find a scene and you're
No.
like, wow, I would
Because
love
I don't have a favorite
to
scene
jerk
or
off to
favorite
this
porn star.
over and over and over again.
No, I'm all about unique
Unreal.
new experiences every time. But that's what I'm saying. I find it so interesting. Like, there's no standard for how to watch porn.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
What do you mean?
Everybody has their own sort of. But
How
it's
many-
so like it's so foreign to me. A lot of people's rituals around porn.
So
You know?
first of all, how often do you guys wank?
Once a day.
Twice a
Today?
week.
Twice a week. Oh, you've got a live-at-home girlfriend.
Yes. So
Hey, fuck off!
That
No,
is
different,
much
different.
rate. It's every other day, maybe.
Yeah, every other day.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you two are in long-lasting relationships. Like, how do you do it? Do you do it before bed?
Aarjav
I
and
mean,
I,
do you do it
we
when-
jerk each other.
What's your
It's Dutch
time?
water.
You obviously, you're like Aarjav and I are single AF. We sit in our beds, get porn up, and have a wank before going to bed, or in the morning.
Sure.
My question is, when do you do it?
Nighttime. Well, actually, no.
So let's go into more detail. Like, obviously,
You know what? Going
your
back to
missus
the
not
working
fucking
from
sitting
home
there.
factor, working from home has made it far easier to masturbate
Ah.
in very strange times in the day. You know, I'll do it in the afternoon.
Afternoon
just
delight,
if I
man.
get-
Like, what?
if I get
Sometimes
the
you need
urge,
it.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you need it. You know, honestly, this has been a new experience for me, but I find it, and I don't know if it's too dirty for shots of Sean, but I find that.
I think there's
Like
anything
now
too
that I've
dirty.
been in a relationship for like a couple of years, masturbating is a means for me to perform better in bed. What?
Okay,
I'll pop one off
Yeah,
in the
no,
afternoon,
of
and I know
course.
if anything escalates later at night, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna last.
I
I will
totally
struggle
get
to
that.
come
The tactical
potentially,
wank.
but at least I'll feel
Yeah.
better about the fact that I'm not busted in, within 10
Within-
seconds.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
men need to hear this. Men need to.
Yeah,
hear
no, the
this.
tactical
The
wank.
standard-
Is it technique based?
Porn sets a very unrealistic standard of sex.
Depends on what you watch.
What do you mean?
You can watch
Missionary.
like
You know, I notice I jerk off so quickly that I think that might affect my performance in bed. If my penis is so used to busting so quick when I jerk off,
Huh.
um,
I never thought about
then
that.
why wouldn't that, wouldn't potentially my penis adapt to that and then start to come
See,
quicker.
to be
in
honest,
bed
I think that's almost
when
a
you're
good
actually
thing.
having
Like,
sex.
But then
That was sort of
when
my,
when you're having sex, you're like, I've got to perform. You're in the moment.
I
and
gotta
you do
perform.
things. No, but you do.
No,
when you're
it's
wanking,
funny, it's funny how-
when you're wanking, you're not going like
Dude,
this.
I'm trying to
"Oh,
perform
no,
when
no,
I
I'm
wank,
trying to
bro.
last.
I'm trying to perform, bro.
But you're thinking to yourself,
I
like,
try to perform on all stages.
let's be honest here, if you could come in 3 minutes whilst wanking, maybe 2.
That's easy.
Okay,
That's easy.
what I'm getting at though is,
That's
why would you then choose to make it last 10 minutes?
Right, that's
Sure.
that's why I don't get people
Orgasm
who
is
get
more
too
special.
into porn.
Yeah, exactly.
as
But
well.
like, what? Because you keep going like, and I'm gonna stop.
Edging.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna
It's
stop.
like, alright.
I cannot tell you.
Technical term down.
Usually-
Edging out here.
Sometimes for me, because I'm late at night, I'm usually like, let's just get it over and done with. So I
Yeah,
can fall
yeah,
asleep.
that's a lot
Yeah.
of my mentality.
But you want to fall asleep because of that serotonin dump, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm
No,
gonna
but it's
relax
not
and
just
sleep.
serotonin. It's like a lot of different things. It's like oxytocin and
Yeah, it's
melatonin.
dopamine
All of
and
these
getting
things.
scientific about jerking off.
No, but
right?
trust me.
Circumference
Smell
will
it.
come.
I've been doing this for a long time. I've done a lot of research.
Yo,
But I can't imagine when a girl
Sharma. Dr. Sharma. Dr. Sharma.
when a girl orgasms, apparently it's like 10 times the intensity of a guy.
The guys orgasm.
Who's told you
Jealous.
this?
But on
See,
the flip
then
side,
I can
rarely
believe
are
that.
men able to.
Who has
fucking-
been a guy and a girl
at the same time?
at the same
Ooh,
time,
that's
and
not
also to the point where
That's
it's like,
not very-
yeah, sex change and all of that, but it's still.
How are
one
they
sex-
measuring that? How are
You
they measuring
cannot
it? Is
ever
that
compare,
dopamine?
dude.
Is that to do
Like
with chemicals
guys
that are
can get
released?
exactly.
in your body,
Guys get
maybe?
turned on like that. Girls, it's rare. Like they would have to really witness you in some kind of like God mode to be like.
No.
Come on.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
No,
Girls
they
get
can.
turned on as much as guys.
No,
in some
it's
way.
the idea that you can do it within a second. For girls, it's a bit
Oh,
more like.
no, yeah.
No, I've always found that it's like it's heating up, and where it's a guy, it's like a switch. You're just like, all right, let's go. All right,
It's also girls often are closing their eyes, just like they're just enjoying the feeling, not enjoying you. Versus guys like,
I'm trying to get
It's
the
so,
camera here.
like,
This is what a girl
one-sided.
sees. This is what a girl sees. Double chin.
go on, Ben.
Like,
Go on, Ben.
yeah, go on, yeah. I just stare at the girls. Girls just stare at themselves. Let's
They're
be honest
just
here.
closed eyes looking
It's like,
away.
I wanna
and
see
shit.
him.
The last thing they're doing is looking at you. Like,
Yeah, then
I mean,
I
once you're in a relationship, it's maybe different. You definitely have more of a bond aside from just physical, but like.
kind of wish they had a POV for a guy.
Yeah, seeing what you look like.
Like,
is
like holy
I'd
shit.
be
I
curious,
wonder
but
if
I
that's
also
going to be
think
a
it would
category
put me
soon,
on.
like within the next 10 years. POV, brackets
Men
girl.
POV. That's the worst porn ever. That's
Oh, yeah,
the
nah,
worst
that's
porn
alright.
ever. Just sweaty fucking.
Sweaty dudes were like, oh yeah. You like that? Oh yeah.
In terms of the orgasm stuff, though, you need to appreciate that for women to orgasm through sex is like that's like a well done.
Yeah.
No, let's be honest here. But for men orgasming, we do it this every single day.
Yeah.
Do it through our hands, and because it's a pussy, we're like, oh my god, it's even more exciting.
Dude, yeah,
for
yeah.
women, because they probably don't wank as much as men do. I could be
Depends
completely
on the
wrong.
woman.
You could be
I
wrong.
hope
on
I'm
that. You could
completely
be
Yeah,
wrong
it
on that.
depends on the
Who
woman.
knows?
Dude,
You're totally right. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
It's
I
just
know
their
opinion.
tools for wanking off are better than what we can offer sometimes. Like it's hard to compete with a
100%.
dildo, bro. Like,
Vibrating
dildos-
one? Fucking
Yeah,
what are you
vibrating.
supposed to-
They hit you right in the right spot in your
Yeah.
clit with the little rabbit ear thing.
Oh,
and,
no,
like,
they've got
and I'm
the.
supposed to compete with that.
Like women have their. Have you seen
The
that?
Theragun
They've
should
got
come
this.
with,
They've got
optional
dildos.
tips.
But they've. Women have this thing which is like a suction thing. My ex had it, and it's like it basically simulated someone going down on you.
Sure.
Yeah, like,
But
what
way
do-
better than an actual guy could.
What do men have? Like,
Nothing.
obviously,
We got
it's
nothing
completely
on
fine,
offer.
but all we have is the
Uncoordinated
best thing we
tongues.
have is a fleshlight, which is a
Oh, right,
silicone
that's
thing made into recreate a pussy.
Mm.
Whereas
Yeah.
women have like a dildo which vibrates and does 360-degree fucking left, right, centre.
Yeah,
and
hold
what do
on,
we
hold
can
on.
do? Okay.
I've seen some dick sucking contraptions that are pretty interesting.
Oh, really?
Typically, the sex toys for men is a
I haven't
is
tried
evolving
these.
industry.
It's also a weird thing because you would imagine that sex toys for men would be a much bigger market than it would be for women. But somehow we just get shafted in this.
Have you guys
I
ever
guess
used a
guys
sex
keep
toy?
it simple,
A
bro.
male sex toy?
I've
used
never
one
used
like
a
Fleshlight, anything like that.
Yeah,
I
I
High
used
school, I
a
used to
flashlight.
fashion my own.
A flashlight,
my
a
own.
flashlight, for
Well,
sure.
like rubber glove and a
I've
towel.
used the flashlight. One of my exes had a dildo, so it's
You
like
know, you know.
Oh, you
You
mean?
know.
like
And
a like
you know.
a vibrating.
Sorry, I thought you
All
meant to do
knows.
it yourself.
No.
I'm like,
Jamie
oh, damn.
knows.
You might need to take that out of the video.
Cut that one out. Cut
Like,
that
I'm not
out.
gonna lie.
Let's cut this whole
Yeah,
section
this
out.
section is probably gonna get cut.
When
This
I
is
was
3 shots in.
10, I reckon when I was 10, my brother was just born, so I must have been 10, 11. I used a vacuum.
Why do you have to bring up
I
the
told you not to bother me when I'm cleaning my room.
You use the vacuum.
I used a vacuum.
That's so unsafe.
Yeah.
No, you gotta do it. Was it like?
You're,
How was it?
you're a horny
Yeah, I
fucking
know.
little
I'm not
teenager.
judging.
I'm not
It just
judging.
reminds me of
Vacuum
scary
off.
movies.
Dude, they get that shit from somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong, I didn't enjoy it, and I used it. I used it
right.
once, and then I was like, okay.
Probably
Done.
not.
You know what? That's an important phase in a young
Yeah.
man's life. You need to figure out what you can and can't put your penis in.
I mean, we've evolved as human
And
beings.
then you learn, and then you adapt.
Yeah.
Listen, when we see a girl
Ben Grills.
when we see a girl on a beach in a bikini,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, she's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Rewind like hundreds of thousands of years ago, the guy would have probably tried and fuck the girl.
Tried to like rape her on the spot.
Yeah, but we've evolved as a human being not to do that shit and just admire that she's pretty. That she's beautiful.
No, I get that, but like,
Yeah.
no, I don't necessarily.
I don't know
agree with
about
that.
that.
No, you don't think
I
so?
don't
So
know
like,
about
if we were in a
Depends
tribe,
how
like we
far
talked
back
about,
we're thinking. I don't know.
If
Okay,
we're talking
so-
about like monkeys and apes, maybe.
Okay.
If we're talking to the point where we become humans and we're living in tribes, you can't just go and like rape one of your tribeswomen.
Okay, fine.
You know, you'll get beaten the shit out of
Well,
But
by
what-
all of the other dudes.
what-
that
in
get
all
laid.
honesty,
But what about
we
if it
don't
was-
actually know.
I was gonna say,
And to be honest,
You
the
don't
whole-
know, but
the
I
whole-
would imagine
you know
like
how there's
otherwise
that-
the tribe would collapse, right?
You know,
don't
you
see
know, there's that stereotype of like cavemen, like bonking
Yeah,
themselves in the head. Like,
right.
I don't know how true that is.
Mm.
I don't know how they came to that conclusion. Whether it's like fractured skulls that
Right.
they found of female cave women.
Mm.
But like,
Maybe.
Okay,
A, first of all, a lot of
I-
assumptions we make about the past, I think, are not as concrete as we think.
No,
they
but
are.
no, I-
for me, it's more the idea of you look at the tribes that exist now as well.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not happening in like
Yeah.
the remote parts
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
Amazon or
There's still a certain
wherever
level of
there's some
respect that
tribes.
there is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. There's
No,
the
I
idea
agree,
that
I
you're
agree.
living as humans, right?
I
This
agree.
is a person of your tribe.
agree.
She has respect in her fucking area of whatever it is. You can't just fucking walk up and be like,
Also-
oh yeah, she's got big tits, I'm gonna fuck her.
Okay,
a
good plan.
massive tangent here.
Yeah.
In some
Welcome to
little
Shots
plane
for Sean!
in Africa.
And you know what is interesting is some of the first art that's ever been like found of like Homo sapiens or whatever, just humans, early humans creating art has always been like boobs and like butts. And
Boobs.
I find it so hilarious. Just
But
the
it's-
thought of, like,
I mean,
hey,
that's like the most primal part
it's
of
so
being
primal.
human, right?
It makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes so much sense.
It's one of the
in a
most
way.
driving factors of
Yeah.
everything we do as humans, as
Absolutely.
men especially.
Absolutely.
It's all to get laid.
Back then it was so simple. You know?
Yeah.
It was just like,
It's like when they
Okay.
gave
Ata,
currency, when they gave currency to chimps. The first thing they did was then prostitution.
Wow,
Mm.
They're fucking
And that's
nuts.
the
Right.
oldest,
It's the oldest profession.
profession in
But
the
like they
world.
give
It's a
currency to
profession in
chimps and they
the
start
book.
putting like giving it out for sex. Like,
Yeah.
fair play.
look,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
look,
Yeah.
you make money how you can, bro.
Like fuck, if girls would pay me for sex, I'd do right.
You be
do
okay?
alright.
I'd try to do
You
right.
be doing good.
I'd hope so.
What if she was like not the one that you want to sleep with, like not the
I mean, if you're
you
making
still
money,
do it?
that sort of goes out. the
You still
window,
do it, right? You
It
just
depends, but then again, then that's when you're asking like how much money are we talking.
How much do you value yourself?
How
How much is a session with Ben? Yo, give me a rough pricing.
100
Research
$100,000.
$1 million. You know.
Oh, but it depends how good looking the girl is.
Oh,
No,
so you're
no,
adjusting
no,
your
no.
price based on your clientele.
You would.
Yeah.
Would you not?
Let's say let's
I
say
don't know.
it's
If it
like
was my
someone who's in
profession,
their
I don't know if
50s or
I
Yeah,
would
I'd
do
be a
that.
pro about it.
So
I'd
that
be
girl
like,
was
I'd
50 or
fuck
60.
anything.
60s
Yeah.
in their 60s, their
No judgment.
grandmother and stuff like that.
And she was like, I need some dick. Can you give it to me?
Yeah,
I'd
would you
probably
do it?
Well, like, no,
That's
it's a
how
case
she
of how
words it.
much. It's not a case of would
Okay,
you do it, it's a
okay,
case of how much.
okay. For the hour, let's say you're getting
I love
$3
where this
grand.
podcast is going.
If it was,
10K.
if it was,
10K.
Yeah, I'd fuck a 60-year-old for 10K
Dude,
for an hour.
I would do fucking.
What are you, a fucking mom? Value yourself a little more reasonably, dude.
10K.
I would do it for like 4K.
10K.
Yeah, she is.
Hey, I just walked in on this.
Yeah. You should probably
Do you want to
ask
come in?
What's this?
Adam,
What do you think
how much
it
do you
is?
think Ben should charge for sex if he was ever offering his
it's
a
big.
night with Ben? How much?
We're talking
In this
about.
outfit?
In this
In this outfit, I would not.
I mean that
they'd
bumps
pay
the
me.
price.
He
That
would
bumps the price a little
pull.
bit. That does bump up the price.
Yeah.
But Ben
Okay,
seems to
from a
think that
60s
10K
social.
is
10K
reasonable.
is
It's
like-
Like, if a 50, 60-year-old was like, I need sex, I'd be like 10K.
A 56
This
10K
is
is.
what you're offering, not what you're worth.
Well, worth. For a
Just what is he
50-60
worth,
-year-old,
Adam?
you'd be like 10k, oh fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
This is
we're just talking about like, I thought you were talking about if you were like a escort.
if he was a
Yeah, basically.
if he was
technically,
offering
like,
his
yeah.
body to people.
If if like a 55-year-old was like, hey Ben, I booked you for the amount of hour, like how much would Ben do it for money?
I think
10K is a lot.
I think your
Nobody's paying
I
him.
think your rate would be like.
Yeah. I mean,
5,
you
6,
look
yeah.
like Tom Hardy a little bit,
that's
but not enough
reasonable.
to charge 10K.
Ben said-
Hey, I literally had a quote about this.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
dude, Adam's literally been
Yo, Adam, you need to get in here.
approached by a pimp in Hong Kong. Go
Do you
on.
want to come in?
How much was
No.
how much was the offer?
So the offer was, so I got approached twice.
By the same pimp?
By the same pimp.
Oh, that
Same
would have
guy.
been amazing if it was separate
No.
pimps, because then you would have really.
Then you
questioned,
know
like,
what you're. You
maybe
can start a
I'm made
bidding
for
war
this.
and everything.
Yeah, maybe I can work these pimps against each other and raise my value.
This other pimp's offering me 10k.
That's not a bidding war.
Uh,
I got options. I got options out here.
no, so I think it was the same guy anyway. It was like 6 years apart. So I mean, like you
Oh, 5, 6.
as much as I can imagine, it was the same. It looked like the same guy, same height, same kind of weight, like same kind of face.
You're
No,
not
but like
sure that it's the same guy.
I've been here my entire. I can tell Asians apart, and he looked very similar. Like he looked very, and like how many fucking similar looking people would do this to a random white dude? On the
True.
street?
It depends how similar you think Asians look in general.
Unless they've got like a very
They're all
specific pimp look.
I think I met this guy a few times, actually. I saw him in a few nights out.
Just going up to random dudes pretending
Hey,
he's
you're
a
that
pimp.
pimp! You're the one who also made money
I've
for
never
sex.
met you. I have no idea.
But he basically like I had a call with him after I met him because I was on my way to do things and I was like I can't talk to you right now.
Really pushed
But
it.
because I actually I actually considered it because I was single at the time and I was like, okay, why the fuck not? Like, you don't get to
Yeah, dude,
choose your price per
No, but
customer.
It's
It's like
You can't.
I mean, like at least if you're going through like maybe if you're like doing it yourself and you're like your own agent type of thing and you
You're a
buy-
freelance male
Yeah,
prostitute.
I've been a freelance prostitute.
Oh, I'm
You're
a
an
freelance male
independent
prostitute.
escort or
Yeah.
whatever.
Quote my own
Independent
prices.
escort.
Yeah.
Fully independent.
Are we?
If you have a
I want
pimp,
to take a piss once.
I mean, this is the last one.
This one.
I mean,
We're
I
done.
always say.
We're
For
gonna
the
roll
last
and re-roll.
Sean,
I did 10 minutes ago.
should we be like, thank you, Sean, or
The last roll.
is there like a
Last
wrap
roll,
up
or-
sentence?
Adam, you
Oh,
want a
I'm
shot?
good. You didn't
Adam,
do
join.
well.
Are you sure? Come on.
Small one.
Oh, just which one?
We'll make some room.
It's not even that much.
Come on, bro. You can't
That's
not
the
show your
last one.
face
This
after
one
that
No, I'm
prostitute
thinking about the
story.
You didn't-
Yeah,
I got
I didn't finish it though.
Crouch down.
Hey,
Just down this, cheers.
cheers. Thank you, Sean. Thank you,
I
Aarjav.
already drank mine.
Thank you, Kat. I'm gonna take my time. with this one.
I think we've kind of randomly covered all the topics we
Yeah,
wanted to talk
especially
about.
male
Male
prostitution. I was
prostitution.
hoping we'd get to that at some point.
But listen, I'm just to end it off. It's coming to 2022. I'd like to hear what your New Year's resolution is, or what you want to do for the next year. Like
2022,
maybe a
yeah.
couple of sentences of what you want to aim for in the next year.
You know,
Because I've said that for all the podcasts. What's your thoughts? I mean, you can talk Aarjav.
yeah.
What do you want to do?
Oh, you're kind of catching me off guard a little bit. Good question. I would like to go and study. I feel like for me, that's something that I've kind of put off for a little while,
Yeah.
and it's something that's always been in the back of my mind to go and do my MBA. So either next year or the year after, that would be ideal. If I could.
Further
Yeah.
education, man, that's smart. I think.
Education, I'm more just a bit like it would be nice to go live that life again in uni where you're
Sure.
just chilling out and
Right. You
You're
just wanna
studying
You
and-
just want to smoke
and-
more pot. You just want to chill.
pretty much. So I would like, honestly go like somewhere pot's legal, Colorado,
He's
California.
gonna have his MBA in
Yeah.
Canada, Amsterdam.
I would love to get an MBA in pot smoking or related activities.
In pot smoking.
No, but they are. It's
dispensary.
becoming a huge industry.
It's a big
no,
industry.
forget the
Oh,
dispensary.
oh, wait, you're genuinely interested in like dipping your toe in the like cannabis industry.
Yeah, so it's more,
That's
you know, like not just sitting around at the dispensary,
Canada.
but like all of the operations that go behind it, the marketing that goes behind it. There takes it's a lot of stuff that goes to setting up a dispensary, right?
Yeah.
You can do more than that. And then I go and enjoy
You know
free
what?
weed.
If you love something, dude, make it a part of your life.
Right.
You know?
I
I'll
have.
join you.
I did make it a part of my
You
life.
need-
It's
you
done
need-
me no
you need
good.
Any help?
For the last 5 years,
It's done you
it's
nothing
made me
but good.
lazier
It's
than
done
anything.
nothing but good.
Mm.
Okay, you don't realize, but you're an enlightened
about you,
human
Leo?
being thanks to it. Dude, I just want to see my family, dude.
Okay, fine.
I just want to see my parents, honestly.
Yeah, actually,
I
that's a
think,
good one.
you know,
I'll
aside
change mine
from-
to that one.
aside
That's
from
fucking
just,
good.
like, you know,
That's a nicer
career-wise,
one.
just making more money, like basic shit like that. I think for me, the main. I mean, obviously, I'm fresh off of a Zoom call with the fam, so I'm
Okay.
especially missing them. But yeah, I think after 3 years of COVID, really quite simply,
Family.
just being able to see your family, have some, you know, just. We're getting older as well. Like, it's hard when you're 29. You really start to fucking think about life.
Dude, it's
I'm sure it
also,
gets
have you
worse with
noticed
time,
that your
but, like-
parents are actually visibly getting old?
like visibly getting old.
Like,
Yeah.
to the point
But,
where
like,
they're getting
I'm
wrinkly
seeing
and
this,
like,
I'm seeing this
yeah.
from a computer
You know,
screen.
yeah.
I'm not there to fucking
Right. Because
hold them and
from
shit.
like the age
And
of
that's-
2 to
that's
20,
pretty
it was
shitty.
almost like they
Yeah.
looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then
that's-
after uni,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
all you see it going downhill, and you're like, wow.
Absolutely.
You
bro.
can see the gray hairs, and you
Yeah.
can see the wrinkles,
yeah.
and you can see the.
I think you just feel so much more just just everything, just like life and its fragility and just how little
Right.
time we have really to
Right, yeah.
appreciate certain things. And I think honestly 28, 29 for me, a lot of it's been like dealing with death and like, or just like
the idea,
the
thinking
idea of it,
yeah.
thinking about it and just coming to terms
Because
with that and
it
not
becomes
seeing
a
your
real
family
thing
makes you
with
think
your
about it
family,
more, you
right?
know, like,
Because it's
yeah, exactly.
when you're early, you know, because your parents are like in their 40s, early 50s,
100%.
they'll be fine. For the
Yeah.
most of us, they'll be fine.
We're
But
all-
now they're getting to their 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, it's a
Exactly.
real possibility that,
and
you know.
we're all experiencing losses and some.
Right.
I think in these ages, it's natural for all of us to lose family members somewhere
Mm.
here and there. And obviously, when it comes to your parents and shit, it's heavy. So
Limited, right?
that's been a big part of. Yeah, I think for 2022, it would be lit if I could go see my parents. But with all the fucking
What about you, Ben?
variants and shit.
More discipline with things such as meditation, journaling, and mental health stuff, self-love stuff, and being on top of my body as an athlete.
Fair.
Simple.
That's
More-
very
more
specific. I like
searching.
it.
On it,
What?
Adam.
And you heard the shot, so
I
you might as well
assume
fucking
keep
say
that
what you wanna
mustache
say.
going strong.
Yeah.
That must be one of your.
Continue the mustache.
Continue
No.
the.
I won't be continuing the tash.
I feel like it suits you. Honestly, when you've had it big, you had it in November last year, and I'd like,
I've grown out a bit more.
Adam looks like he could coach a 16-year-old football team.
like
totally
that's the look you should be aspiring to.
Well, like
You
with
wanna
the
look like
mustache,
someone
like,
who can
and
coach
shorts.
16-year-olds.
Normally, he would wear shorts and stuff.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. You can dodge a wrench, dodge a ball.
The three ducks and dodgeball, duck, dive, and
Dodge. Dodge, duck, dab, dodge. Yeah, no. Aside from the mustache?
I mean, aside from the obvious, like traveling outside of Hong Kong and just being able to kind of be free again.
It should happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
I hope so, bro.
Of course it will happen.
I mean, eventually.
Dude, if it doesn't happen, everything's gonna
To
be.
be honest, I don't really know.
Mm.
I don't really know what I want. I'm in a bit of a part of my life where I'm a bit.
Well, you don't really know.
I'm a
You
bit-
need to know. That's
I'm
the
a
thing.
bit lost in what I want from my career.
Right,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends. So I guess what I want to do is I want to find out what I want to do.
What
Your
you wanna
passion.
do. Yeah, that's lit.
Find a
bro.
passion or just something I enjoy and I can get behind and I believe in, but it doesn't need to be like a passion.
Mm.
Right.
If I believe in a product or service or
Yeah.
company.
Sure. That makes sense, bro.
But yeah, that's probably the most important thing is just to find out almost what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
The next
Right,
stage.
right,
Yeah,
right.
fair.
The next stage of your life is you turn 30.
Yeah, I mean that's a great
I also
step.
want to have a fucking huge 30th party.
Hey.
Yo, excited for that. Let's do
Have a
that.
good old
We
time.
should all have a big ass fucking.
Exactly.
When all of our birthdays arrive for our 30th, we should
Why is
each
there
have
a
a
blind one?
A couple of weeks away.
Come on, fam.
Aarjav's a couple of weeks away.
Come on, Aarjav, it's a big one. Buying a big old bag.
I think just to summarize it, I think like number one is just to be kind to people more so.
Yeah? I mean, you are a dick, bro.
Yeah,
I see you in the streets. You might want to change your up.
I think people are just so during COVID. People are just so uptight.
Mm.
And I think even you just need to be a little bit more kinder to people.
Right.
And number two, just kind of create more like social awareness and like be closer to friends. I think because it's gonna help people. And also, the last thing I want to do is be fucking injury free so I can progress in my career.
Yeah.
If it's football or my PT.
For you, that's
Oh,
like
I'm
important. 'cause
always fucking injured.
I was gonna say, I feel like
I'm
the last 2
always
years for
injured.
you has just been injury after injury.
And I guarantee, I believe in myself. If I'm not injured, I can do better. But
Yeah.
that's what it is. So, but let's see.
Hey, yo, cheers to all our
Are you going to do shots or you're done?
I'm done.
Come on,
I've already had enough.
you've had one, Adam, get in.
Yeah,
I've been drinking all
half one.
Hey,
You don't have any.
Sir.
I know you don't drink at all. Nah, couldn't.
It can happen. I hate vodka, bye.
I'm done.